Yo, and we are live, baby. We are live. All right, man. Well, as you guys know, today is an exciting day. We have FOMC at 11:30. It may not be that exciting in the morning just because the market's gonna be anticipating that. But in the meantime, um, let me start with this. I'm actually in a trade right now. We just hopped in, and as you will notice, I got a few levels marked up. You see some red zones, you see some red lines, right? So I got in originally right here. As we pulled back into the zone, I got in. And the reason I got in it was because I like this zone here. I like this area of volume that entered the market. And I feel like we could potentially break past this trend line here. And if we break past this little zone here too, this box here, that would give me the confidence to believe that um, we're gonna keep going higher. But we're still in this trade. Um, it was going in my direction for a second. I thought it was worth the risk too. I got in at 24, and stop loss is right below 20, so it's like a 4 point on Nasdaq. It's really not much. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, great. That's fine too. But yeah, I liked it because it was a nice little opposing zone, which is what I look for. And then on ES, if we look at ES is having a hard time making lower lows. So I figured if we bounce off of here, but I currently don't like what's happening. Um, I think I'm gonna get stopped out right here. So it was like this was a 4 point risk. I'm
Stop filled.
I'm totally okay with that. Um, it is what it is. But there's been some really nice moves in pre-market. I mean, look at these lower lows here, both on ES and Nasdaq. Just it's been trending, right? However, when you look at the grand scheme of things, you'll notice that we are just like in this sideways range here. So let me just show you here. So we're still like in this sideways range here, and we do have a lot of levels down here that we need to be concerned about. This 30-minute demand, this 15-minute demand, support. We got a 4 hour demand. Like we have a lot of levels down here, a lot of support. I would expect buyers to hold this. Um, Let me just do something really quickly. Yeah, so we're seeing a really nice rejection down here. Um, I may look to get back in before the market opens because once again, we've had some really nice moves during pre-market, and as the market's opening, it's been finding some really nice. It's been finding some momentum. So really, what I'm looking for is are just like little clues letting me know like, hey, we're going up or we're going down. But god damn, my neighbor's always smoking. Can you believe it's barely 6 in the morning and this motherfucker's already smoking. But yeah, so ES, a lot of levels of support. I would expect a sideways range um, from now up until FOMC. I think we'll see some nice moves once FOMC is once all of that's released or whatnot. Other than that, I'm gonna show you Nasdaq. That way we're here on the same page. Again, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe a move to the upside if we can break past this trend line and maybe test these highs up here. That would be a solid move there. Here on Nasdaq though, same thing. We're kind of within this range here. Um, we hit actually a. I want to show you. Let me go back to ES really quickly. ES overnight we actually hit a 1 hour It was a 30-minute. We hit this 30-minute supply zone, as you can tell, bounced right off of it, and this is right after that bounce. We just made lower lows, which was a really nice move. And now 30-minute demand. I don't know if I would expect it to hold, but we do have some levels below that. So again, my trade idea here is if we could come down, find find support from buyers, and bring this thing back up to these highs, and just stay within a range. In the meantime, that's pretty much what I'm looking for here. So I'm looking for something to tell me to get in. You know, like I mentioned earlier, this was the trade that I got in here, and we are finding buyers support, stepping in, supporting this level here, and as you can tell, we're starting to form this little wedge here, and that's definitely an area of interest. You saw how that just rejected there, so we could, if we can break past this zone, I'd be interested in going long, and this would be my risk here. All these little red boxes, once we break past them, I look to get in, and then the end of that box is where I usually place my stop loss. I may give it a little bit of room to breathe, but that's pretty much it. We have 5 minutes till the market opens here. Like I said, I am looking to, if we can get, you know, buyers to step in here, and I need to see some aggression first off, right? I need to see some aggression here, and if we can break past this level, I'd be looking to go in long, and first target profit would be here. And then maybe the second target profit would be anywhere from, like, you know, 15,652. And if we leave some runners, we can potentially test these levels up here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'd like to see a break past this box. And again, I wouldn't be risking I'm comfortable risking 4 points. I'm normally, usually I'll risk about 10 to 15 points on NASDAQ. So if I get an opportunity to risk, what is this, 5 points, I'll take the risk. And on ES, I mean, this is why I'm looking at both most of the time, both ES and NASDAQ, because ES is having a hard time making lower lows here, right? So if ES can be supported, and you know, we see the same thing on NASDAQ, well, that just gives me the confluence and the confidence to get in. And you guys just saw we had a really nice rejection here. Some volume stepped in. We got 3 minutes till the market opens. And once again, we are looking for, you know, this is something that I don't like to see, is like if we're gonna break, I want it to be a fast, clean break. I don't wanna see it struggle. You know what I mean? So that for me is a red flag. I want to see a fast, clean break past these opposing zones. But maybe we'll test these lows here, this 30-minute demand. As you can tell, we had a really strong rejection. So we could potentially see price gravitate towards this demand, right? Any demand, any supply that you have, price typically wants to go there and fill those orders. It acts as a magnet. So if we can see price come down here and maybe find identify a double bottom. Again, I'm not gonna get in as we hit this zone, but this would be the first signal if we find a really strong rejection here, and then we bounce. Um, that could potentially give me, the confidence to get in. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Again, ES is having a really hard time making lower lows. And I may hop in this right now once if this 1 minute candle closes. If we can find an immediate retest of this zone here, I'd be open to getting in. So I had the right idea here. I wanted to find, some longs. Yeah, and this thing, I feel like at this point it kind of just took off without us, so it doesn't really make sense to.
Order filled.
All right, I hopped in this play. The All right, hopped in it. Stop loss is at 10 points away from that. That's a really strong rejection, though. I may get stopped out here.
Stop filled.
Yeah, not a good trade, honestly. It's just, man, that was tough. It's not that it wasn't a good trade. It's just it's a risky one when the market just opened, especially if you're trading Nasdaq, man. That thing's incredibly volatile. Nice. All right, so my issue is once again we're having a lot of we have a lot of levels of support down here. So my issue is I'm gonna have to wait until I have several confluences here, not just one or two. Um, so I'd like to see us bounce off of one of these levels here. Find some support, then find some aggression, and then if we can break past an opposing zone, that's typically what I'm looking for, right? So I would need to see a break past. I need to see a break past an opposing zone here. gonna have to invalidate all of these levels because we just literally burnt right through them. Once again, ES is really having a hard time breaking below this level of support, despite seeing a whole bunch of sellers. So I do expect NASDAQ to be held up here. And we're bouncing off of this 1 hour resistance. So that's a pretty good sign. Let's take a look at those higher time frames once again and see if you smack that Fibonacci on here from the low all the way to the high. Okay, we've broken past that 50% retracement, and then we're now testing the 61% retracement. So that is something to consider there. And that Fibonacci, the low, I'm taking it from the low of Monday, and then smacking it all the way to the top of yesterday's high. I may take a long opportunity here, right at this, right after we break past that box there. If we get above it, and I see some nice volume, I'm gonna hop in with longs. But I need to see the same thing here on ES. Man, ES is kind of struggling. And the only reason I feel comfortable getting in so early is because we're bouncing off of this key level here. Alright, so we just got above it. Let me see a close above that. Alright, I'm gonna hop in here.
Order filled.
Stop loss is at 1579. $15,577 actually, just gave it a little bit of room here. Alright, there it goes. I'm moving my stop break even. I don't want to see this come back down, especially with the momentum. With its current momentum, I need to see this just continue to make higher highs, and then that the first level that I want to see us hit is this strong or let's say VWAP first. Let's look for VWAP first, and then the second level would be up here at this this strong rejection we had when the market opened. So I move my stop loss at break even. I don't want to see this come back down. That would be a red flag. So we have a key level here. We bounced off of a key level. We saw some defense, and then we just broke past an opposing zone here, which gave me the confidence to get in. ES is making higher highs. We just got to get above that VWAP here. I wouldn't want to see it come back down. Oh, come on, get up there. Come on. It's starting to turn around. I don't like it. Come on, come on, come on. You need to go up. There you go. So I'm going to look, once again, I'm going to look to target VWAP first. I'll take a good chunk of my position out of here, and then I'll let some free runners try to get up to that 15,638 level. I like what ES is doing. It just broke past VWAP. I just need to see NASDAQ follow suit here. So we got in right after we broke past that little box. That's when I hopped in. I went in long after bouncing off of this 1 hour resistance / support. And once again, we are going to target this 15,625 level. That's what I'm hoping for. And I'm actually going to move my stop loss just a tad bit. I wouldn't want to see this get below 15.595. I just seen ES try to break below VWAP there. So believe it or not, if ES is doing whatever ES is doing, it kind of does influence what Nasdaq's doing and vice versa. Yeah, so I'm noticing a pretty strong rejection over here on ES. So I just want to protect myself here. If
Stop filled.
yeah. Okay, so we got stopped out there. Once again, I didn't want to see it get below that 15.595 level because it had some really nice momentum. I just wanted to just see a clean move to the upside. Yeah, so notice what ES is doing, right? This for me is a red flag. If I start to see ES fail to get above VWAP and then we see strong sellers coming in, like, you know, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to look to protect myself. Uh-oh, there it goes. I'm entirely out of that position. If this ends up working out, well, you know, it is what it is, but I was in long. Yes, I was in long. I was in long, but I got out of that position there once I saw ES failing to get above that VWAP. Now you could still be in this trade, right? It's still valid. I got in at 15.588. We did come back and test that level. I just know that when I'm trading Nasdaq runs. So once it starts to hesitate, that for me is a red flag. Now I understand it's important to give your trade some time to breathe, or some room to breathe, I should say. But Nasdaq normally runs fast. So if once I start to see it slow down, it just gives me, I think it's a lower probability setup. Yeah, so I wouldn't have wanted to sit through this action here. Once again, once I start to see Nasdaq consolidate like that, nope. ES I have a little more patience with, but Nasdaq I don't have that much patience with Nasdaq because some of the best moves that I've seen from Nasdaq is just if we're going long, it's making higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. It's doesn't usually consolidate. Um, so yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't have wanted to sit through this. I also just want to say I'm not looking at the chat as much, especially when I'm in a position. So you just have to listen, and you know, because I'm telling you when I'm going long and I'm going short. I must have said it like 3 times. I went long as soon as we broke past this box. I went long, right? And I was targeting VWAP first, right? But once I saw ES fail to get above VWAP or it will fail to stay above VWAP, that's when I decided to take my position off. All right, so it looks like price did manage to break above that consolidation there, and it actually formed a really nice, 5-minute demand zone here. And now we're testing that VWAP. Remember, we have FOMC later, so you're gonna want to go for shorter targets, quick in and out. Just because the market's anticipating this news here, so I don't really think we're gonna see a big move before 11. And so we did manage to get that test of VWAP there. That was target profit number one. Now, if you're in this trade, I wouldn't want to see this get below this 15608 level. I would need to see it. What I would really want to see is it coming all the way up to that second target profit, which is 15,640. That's up here. Unless it finds some resistance as we hit this trend line here, right? Because that trend line has been respected all overnight. That trend line has been respected. And it tried to get above it this morning and it failed to do so. So just something to keep in mind. But take a look at ES. ES is already, it's made lower lows, right? It was consolidating. It's now making lower lows. All right. Let's take a look at ES. Oops. All right, so you may notice, yes, we've already violated this trend line, but usually when we get above trend lines, sometimes they act as support there. So we did see a little bit of support here, and we're seeing a little bit of support here in this most recent candle. And of course I drew this trend line here just because I noticed, look at the higher highs, and yeah, so that's something else to consider there. So here we come, we're testing that trend line now. Once again, I really want to see this get tested here. I'm not in a position, going based off my trade idea, my original trade idea, I was anticipating price making higher highs, and we're starting to see that now. We've hit VWAP, and I would really want to see this 15,639 level hit, just to know that I had the right idea, even though we got stopped out prematurely. And if you take a look at Apple and Microsoft here, Apple has been bouncing off of resistance here. I'm sorry, a support. It's been bouncing off a support level. Yeah, it's been bouncing off of this level of support, and it looks like it could potentially make higher highs here. Microsoft, not so much. Microsoft is looking a lot different. Now you guys know Microsoft and Apple make up the majority of Nasdaq and ES, so I find it important to look at those just once in a while, just to be on the same page here, because that's when you have the best setups, when everything's just lining up. So I'm gonna just get rid of this. I'm getting mixed signals in right now, just because I look at Nasdaq and then I look over at ES, and it's just completely different. Um, we're just consolidating here on ES, so it just makes it difficult to really place a trade when you have mixed signals like this. Now, if we end up getting below that, that for me would invalidate this trade, or it'd be a good time to just get out prematurely. Although we haven't hit this 15,639, but if we end up getting below this, and now we're getting below VWAP once again, you just don't like to see that. Don't expect big moves. Not today. Take what you can get today. Because I don't think we're going to see a big move. So right now we're seeing a little bit of support here. This trend line is doing a good job of supporting it. These EMAs are doing a good job of supporting it. And we're now above VWAP. You don't want to see it start consolidating here, right? Because that lets us know that we're just in a balanced range. If it starts to consolidate here, it's just not something you want to see. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Once you start to see it get above and below VWAP, you know we're just in a balanced range. So you have there's no edge here. There's literally no edge. There's no reason why you should be hopping in a trade, in my personal opinion. That's why I wanted to target VWAP. But we're already breaking below this trend line here. We're getting below those EMAs, so that's a those are the tools that I use to gauge whether I want to stay in or out of a trade. Looking at that trend line, looking at the EMAs. Once again, those are two really good tools that you can use to know when to get out of your trade. If it violates that 21 EMA, if it violates that trend line, you're out. You can take partial profits if you'd like, but I've noticed when we're above that 21 EMA, we're solid, right? We're trending, we're good. Once we get below it, it's time to dip. And we've already hit VWAP, right? So right now, the one thing that I'm looking at is this level of resistance down here. Like if we could come back down here, maybe find a double bottom and then make our way up again, I wouldn't mind trading that. Microsoft is very slow. Um, Not doing much. Apple, on the other hand, you see a little more action, but it's in a sideways range. Not something that interests me. Now we did come into this, looking at Nasdaq here. We did come into that 5 minute. Once again, when we broke above this level, we formed a really nice base here. So we came down into that, and we're seeing some really nice volume stepping in. It looks like buyers are stepping in. So this area here, that's a 5 minute demand zone, right? So we came into that area. We're seeing a nice little push up. It's not good enough for me to get in. I'm just commentating here. I'm letting you know what I'm looking at, right? But that is a really nice 5 minute demand zone, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons we're bouncing off of this level and seeing that increase in volume. And we still haven't managed to break above that trend line, right? You can tell we're just rejecting it. I'll probably be on here for another hour, see if we can hopefully spot a nice opportunity within that time. But as I mentioned, I don't expect a big move, so we're just going to have to take what the market gives us today. I'm interested to see if we're going to reject here again. Yeah, buyers are having a hard time pushing this thing down here, so I'm gonna hop in short here at 15,613. At 15,613, if we can break below this here, if we can break below that, I'm gonna hop in short. A quick scalp here if we can get it. Once we break below that box, I'm interested in getting short, but I need to see. I don't like what's happening. You see how we didn't break below it. I'm gonna take this off the table here. I don't like it. So I was gonna go for a little quick scalp here. You know, targeting this first this level and then this second level down here. But I didn't like how we didn't break below that area there. So we're not in a position. We're still analyzing the market, trying to find a good opportunity here. You're gonna have to remain patient. You're just gonna have to remain patient here until something of quality pops up. Even when I don't see it, you working. You never stop. The reason I was interested was because we have some resistance here on ES and then resistance here on NASDAQ, and I like the strong rejection we saw here. So I really wanted to see a break below this level for me to get in, but since we weren't able to get that, I just figured it was probably better not to get in. Now another thing you don't want to see is you don't want to see these EMAs and VWAP get closer and closer together. You don't want to see that, because right now we're just flat now. We're just flatlining. This market is literally dead, right? So we missed out on the big opportunity here so far, right? Like we got in at a good entry. I just decided to get out prematurely just because I didn't like how we started consolidating here, but this was our move. This was the move I was looking for, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the best move of the day. Not until FOMC, of course, because we are going to see some volatility there, but we're just starting to flatten out here, and I really don't think you should expect much. All right, so I'll be here for like another 30 minutes or so. All right, I'm gonna be looking at the market. And once I notice something, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, there's nothing worth mentioning. Once again, we're just balanced, and I really don't think you ought to trade this. Unless you like to gamble, go ahead and take a stab at the market here. But if you are, just go for quick short targets. I'm trying to make something out of this, but it's probably better to just stay away from it, honestly. I think it might be best to just sit on the sidelines on this one, dude, because not really much you can make out of this. there's nothing exciting about this market, which is why I'm not talking. Right, I've gotten some backlash for not talking sometimes. Uh, People telling me that they want to hear me talk so that they could stay on here. Look, we're here to trade, dude. If you want to hear someone talk, there's plenty of other channels that they do a bunch of that, right? I'm not here to talk. I'm just here to break down the market and really show you the trades that I'm taking. That's pretty much it, right? And not only am I doing it for your sake, I'm actually doing it for mine, just because this helps me record my trades. I can go back, watch these things, right? So I'm not really here to entertain. I'm just here to take the best trades possible and reveal those to you guys, right? So nothing exciting here. Once again, you guys can see this market. We're just in this choppy. You know what it is. You know how the market normally behaves before such a big event. There's nothing exciting. So I really don't want to trade this. And I said I was gonna stay here for an hour, but I think I'm gonna just call it for today. I could potentially, you know what I'll do? I'll actually hop back on later, like at 11 before FOMC, and yeah, we'll do that. All right, so I'll call this one early, and then for the two people that are watching, thank you for sticking through this live stream, and I'll be live streaming later, so just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, happy trading.